WarsawJS.
Hello to everyone. I'm Jakub. I'm a co-founder and co-creator of Nerdboard. It's an AI-powered platform that simulates work environment for learning JavaScript. So there is my second half of the team, second co-creator, Carolina. She's my better half, and we are two army team, and we are bringing you quite a hot topic, especially during these times when we are witnessing the rising of AI and the irreversible changes that are approaching in our lives. I would like to show you what's going to happen. So I'm going to talk a bit about the importance of code reviews. If you don't know how important they are, I guess you mostly know the challenges in traditional code reviews. I'm going to show you how AI-powered code reviews work. I'm going to show you how I implemented them in Nerdboard. I'm going to try to convince you to the benefits of using AI-powered code reviews. And I'm going to talk a bit about challenges and how we can collaborate with AI as humans. So let's start. The first thing is that we all know that code reviews are important. For those who don't know, code reviews are a crucial part of software development process, right? So they are also, in my opinion, the most effective way of learning software engineering. So how does it look like in like a simple overview? Here you can see that it's a simple overview of software engineering process. We have some task to do that is specified by project manager or some team lead. Then we have to code solution, and we have to request code review, and of course when solution for a given problem is completed, and then we are waiting. So if we could count how many days in total we waited for code review to be completed by our colleagues, right? I think from my experience, it's a long time. So for example, we are waiting for some code review, and we are waiting, and we are waiting. We have to ping our colleague to, hey man, just check it, okay? Okay, but he rejected it, okay? It took me 10 minutes to implement this fix, but he went for lunch break, yeah. And then, of course, he got another appointment, and yeah, he will check it later. Okay, but not today. So we lost whole day of working, or yeah, we could use it as a break for playing pool, for example. But don't worry, breaks are also necessary in our life, in our work. So, but yeah, let's come back to the process. So we are coming back to work tomorrow, and it's still not checked, right? So we have to ping again. Hey man, just check it again. Okay, yeah, we finally got approval, and we finally can merge our task into production environment, let's say, because it's a simple form. We know that in work, in corporate world, we got QA stage, we got CI pipelines, so it's much more complex, but let's focus on code reviews. So we can think about it like one of the biggest challenges in traditional code reviews is time constraint. Because from a developer perspective, we waste a lot of time when we wait for code review, right? Because, for example, I want to be proactive, and I don't want to wait. For example, my task is related to other task, and I can't start working on something else until my task is not finished yet. So yeah, I'm gonna create new branch. I'm going to check out my new branch from my feature branch that is under review. But let's say I'm going to be rejected, right? So I have to do my work again, because I have to go back to my previous branch. I have to refactor it, and then I have to rebase, for example, my new branch and fix conflicts. So it's adding me a lot of work that I could spend, for example, for something else. Other thing is biases and subjectivity. We love people from work, we hate people from work, we like people from work, and it doesn't matter how we try, it will somehow affect the final result of the code review. Especially that we are all humans, right? So each of us has different experiences from other work, and the code review place is the place where we exchange those experiences. But sometimes someone can focus on on his experiences that it has been done differently in his work, but now it can't be done differently. So so here is an argument for the fight. The other thing is scalability. I know it's not a problem for companies because companies work usually in a small teams and they do code review internally. But as an educator, I'm having a problem with that, because I think that code reviews are the best way to learn somebody, to get him or her into software development and to teach him. So I wasn't be able to do it professionally on a group like for 10 or more people, because it's impossible to do it. Like you have to code review each task again and again and again, and it affects the quality of such code review. So it is a problem. So that's why we introduced AI-powered code reviews, and we tried to do an experiment and implement GPT into Nerdboard. And how does it look like? I want to make a little disclaimer now, because I totally understand that resolving a problem of code reviews is totally different thing than resolving them in learning environment, especially because of privacy issues, because of context-specific code requirements, because of understanding complex business logic. But from lecturer perspective, we have, by doing code reviews that are supported by AI, we have always consistent and instant feedback. We have prioritized objective evaluation. We eliminate bias, and we identify common mistakes. So, why do internships are the best form of learning for newcomers, for people who, for example, finish boot camps, universities, or courses? Because it's totally different. Working is totally different thing than learning how to do some projects on Udemy, following step by step by some guy. When you are left alone and you have to solve some problem by yourself, you just don't know how to do it because you are used to following step by step guide. That's why internships are so cool, to get first job experience. And that's why we thought, why can't we just put out this process that is inside the work, and can't we just simulate this environment for learning, right? Because it can be much more effective. So so that's specifically the same process that I showed you before, but we changed only one thing. We replaced manual code reviews with AI code reviews, and by doing that, we removed the main pain point of this process, waiting. So by doing that, our users, our users can experiment more. They don't have to wait for the result. They don't have to be uncomfortable about requesting, for example, request for review 5 times in a row, because they can be afraid, for example, if they ask again and again for manual review, they can, for example, be afraid that maybe I will think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Yeah, never mind. Okay. So so they can experiment more, and they can try to do it as many times as they need to get final result. So I will show you how does it look like on Nerdboard. So we have a Kanban board with the tasks. So it looks like we are starting working on a task. We have the specific task goal. We move it to in progress. Our goal is to connect pull request with a solution. So we are going to our IDE, and we are creating new feature branch, exactly how you would do it at work. So we are doing a feature branch, and I'm not gonna show you how I'm implementing an endpoint here, but I'm gonna show you how I'm trying to cheat Nerdy. So he should, of course, reject my solution. So I'm typing something very not important, and my next step is, of course, to stage my changes and commit them. So I'm able to create pull requests. So I'm typing, I'm typing, I'm pushing. Nice. And now I'm able to open my repository and create new pull request. Perfect. So pull request is created. Now we can connect it to the nerdboard. And okay, we have files changed. So let's refresh PRs. Let's connect pull request. Now we can move it to in review. And now we are able to request instant AI review, which is going to be completed by our friendly bot Nerdy. Yeah, Nerdy is working, it's processing, it's usually taking about 10 seconds, but yeah, we are waiting for the decision. Okay, perfect, we got rejected. We can go to GitHub, and now we have all our review. We got the code changes that were implemented there, we have task requirements, and we have specific feedback. And Nerdy even suggested me a solution that could be implemented to cover specific task requirements. Perfect. So this is how it looks like. So I'm going to talk a bit about implementation process, how I did it. And yeah, so when we click on AI code review, we queue code review request using Bull.js. I mean, for the backend application for the backend core, I use Nest.js, which is amazing framework. Thank you for inventing it, Kamil, if you watch it. Thank you. Another thing is that Nerdboard is calling GitHub to get all related files to the specific pull request. Of course, we have to validate them, we have to filter them, because we don't want to include, for example, yarn logs or npm logs, the package.json logs in the code review, right? Because those files are too big. And as we know, GPT has its own limitations that we have to somehow omit. Okay, so when files are filtered, we have to collect our task requirements and create a context for GPT based on all data that is in Nerdboard. Then it's being wrapped into the context. Those files are being wrapped into the context that is created, and GPT is processing the context and code that is attached as a given solution, and then it returns a review. Based on the review, GPT makes a decision that it should be rejected or approved. After that, review and decision is being sent to GitHub, and after that, GitHub notifies Nerdboard about completed review. So this is an overview how it works, how it's implemented, and let's talk about benefits of such solution. First and foremost is consistent and instant feedback. This is, I think, time is money. Nobody likes waiting, and I think that's cool because developers has different styles of doing code reviews, and here we can do it very precisely to create some template that will be always the same, that will be instantly completed, which is great because it increases productivity of our mentees, especially that they can do their tasks anytime they want. Even when I sleep, they can always ask for a code review. Another thing is objective evaluation and eliminating bias. So yeah, Nerdy doesn't love you, Nerdy doesn't hate you, Nerdy doesn't have any feelings. So I think that's cool because he's focusing on the task requirements, on the objective, right? So this is great because this feedback will be always related to task requirements and not the feelings that, for example, you could have a bad day someday. Another thing is that it's born to scale. By implementing AI code reviews, we could decrease the price of learning at our platform by 90%. It's a very high number, especially that manual code reviews are very expensive in terms of, because someone has to do those those code reviews. And it has to be some software engineer, and his time is usually very expensive. So as I believe that code reviews are the best way of learning, it wasn't affordable for everyone. And I think education should be affordable for everyone. And I think that is the one of the main reasons why AI is changing the game, because it solves given problem. Another thing is that it helps us identify common mistakes like code duplications, like unused code pieces, commented code, some when to use const, when to use let, some very typical stuff that AI can suggest you to, for example, fix or improve. Okay, so here's the question: should we trust Nerdy? Of course, I don't want to say yes or no, because I totally understand that AI is at the beginning of its existence, and as every baby, it needs some guidance. It needs someone who will take care of him. So this is how we cooperate. Nerdy is a tool. It's non-existing being, right? So I have to work with him. So that's why we cooperate, collaborate. So this is a simple process that I implemented in Nerdboard to cooperate with Nerdy, where I get all created reviews that are completed by Nerdy. They are coming into my private Discord channel, and I'm always following them and trying to validate if they are right or wrong. So if there is some stupid mistake or Nerdy is sticking to something that he shouldn't stick to, I'm always doing manual review, and I'm always following up on my student to tell him, don't worry, he's wrong, and just forget about it. But this problem was mostly at the beginning of this implementation. We are still constantly improving the process and still constantly improving the code reviews. So I think it's usually more problems with too big pull requests than bad code reviews. So yeah, to sum up, I think it's a fantastic tool, and to be honest, I'm very curious what next years will show us. And if you'd like to check how it works, we have like JavaScript weekly challenge, which is totally for free, and you can challenge Nerdy to code some solution and check how code reviews looks in practice in the real life scenario. And yeah, I encourage you to test it, to keep in touch with me, and to have a great time today, this evening.
Thank you very much, Jakub. Second Jakub. You're actually Jakub number one. Let's call you Jakub number one. Interesting talk. I do feel rather like a nerd being here. As I understand it, nerd is a positive term in this community. Is that correct? If you say, oh, that guy's a nerd, it's a positive. It's not like,
Of course it is.
it was like, yeah. So I'm feeling a little bit nerdy, I have to say. Does anyone have any questions for Jakub? Here we go.
So in terms of managing expectations, why position it as a substitute for manual code review instead of as an augmentation tool to do so?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to split it in terms of work and in terms of learning, because I know how it looks like on bootcamps. I know how it looks like on courses. I know how it looks like on platforms that try to do code reviews. It never works because nobody cares. You can wait, for example, 1 week or 2 weeks for a code review and you won't get it. That's why I think it shouldn't be a substitute in corporate or professional environment, because code review is a collaborative process, right? And we shouldn't replace it this way. I think if you are learning, you don't need such specific feedback in terms of, for example, architecture, because you are learning and you have problems with really simple problems. Remember that we are really biased with our knowledge about JavaScript and everything, and you wouldn't believe how much we are biased about it.
Hello, very interesting presentation. So my question is about ChatGPT context limit, because I think we all know it has like 4K token limits, and when reviewing code, I believe in some cases you may try to send context with like more tokens than accepted. So have you had this problem, and if yes, then how you solved it?
So yeah, I had this problem, and basically I'm sending him a diff of specific files, and I'm batching the requests because I couldn't send it as a one specific request because it was too big. So it was batched and split on many requests, and it works pretty fine. And now GPT updated its model, and now you can send like 16,000 tokens.
It's almost unfathomable. That's just incredible. A lot of information very quickly. Let's give him a big hand. Jakub, thank you for your presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.